that I come and make it a 3 straight day. And I want to see how everybody's doing. Hope everybody's having a good Monday, early or late. Just let me know with what you're doing. Um, it's interesting. What do we got here? We're gonna talk about some of that janky all-star game if you want to talk about it. Um, that mess. We can talk about Kid Rock. Still gotta be in a bonnet about Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So let's get into it. When you get on board, we're gonna let I'll see what I got. I will be here. So we're gonna see what we're dealing with. Let's see if I can get everybody on board. I'm going. See if anybody's out here on the board. So hopefully we don't get no trolls. We'll get people that up. Anyway, so there's a lot to get into. I don't really want to talk about the bootleg version of the NBA All Star Game. I did that. You can watch my videos. I talk about how it was basically a bootleg version of Ice Cube's Big Three. So we can talk about it if you want to. It sucks. Of course, Steph Curry is gonna get the MVP of it because he's a hometown kid, and he deserves it. But he didn't get that award in France, just like Jason Tatum got dissed from getting playing time. That's another story. And then this whole thing with Kid Rock, and he's definitely in his feelings about Kendrick Lamar, and he has sure a lot to say to Bill Maher. And it's never just about music. And you claim to be an NFL fan, and you got so much to say. But yes, Colin Kaepernick got unfairly ran out, and of course, you got people that are still talking and they still walking because they don't understand it. And the problem that Kendrick Lamar ran into is that he had a good, strong message, but he didn't have the charismatic personality or a charismatic song. Because I wish he had done like King Kunta or All Right to really touch upon. because everybody just wanted to hear him do Not Like Us and say A minor. And then they wanted to use that, which is embarrassing because this is the thing. It was black on black, which is supposed to be against what Trump's representing. So this is the problems that we run into when you're trying to be political and you have an agenda, but you have a diss track which overrides and it's black on black. And so that's the problem one of the problems that Kendrick Lamar ran into. I had no problem with what he was putting down. It's just that I tell you, going into it, you're doing a particular song that everybody has come to see, and there's no way. What's up? Good morning. How you doing? I told you I was coming right now, so here we are. So let's get into it. Great to see you. I like your timing, and I'm glad you're here today. What's up? Feel free to take that poll. I did a video. Yeah, well, he got nothing else better to do. He's got nothing else better to do. He was on Bill Maher's show, and he got nothing else better to do. I'm sure you want to talk about the All-Star game format, which I just did a video, which I called it the Ice Cube bootleg version of the Big Three, because that's what it really was. Team Shaq against Team Charles. And, I mean, it was, Adam Silver been, I mean, this is what they come up with. I mean, really? I mean, All-Star weekend was another fraudulent, over the top, much to do about nothing. And McLovin is about to look like he's a major of dunkers. It's hilarious what's coming. I mean, the way they sell the game. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that immensely. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Always appreciate it. Always. Well, how you doing today? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. And we can get into whatever you want to talk about. As I said, I'd be nice here live and well. So we're gonna get into it, talk about it, be about it. Appreciate donations. Appreciate anybody come through. Monday's the start of the week. For some people in the States that celebrating President's Day, long weekend. I didn't watch the pumpkins either. So you know what that was about, right? You know what that was about. That was supposed to be the Bronny James showcase. And he didn't make it. And against LeBron's judgment, since his son couldn't participate and and it was gonna be Steph's award to win no matter what Steph did. It's by the Bay. The fix is in, the writing's on the wall. Just saying. That's what it revolves to me. The whole father and son day game and the whole kumbaya and all that. As you do know, I don't do this usually in my videos, but if you catch me live stream, I tend to go more deeper. This is what I'm doing here. I'm using this platform for that. So if you like my live streams, tell people about it. Come on. I talk about that. I talk about what I don't. Yeah, because it was going to be Steph's day to shine. And it was done in a maneuver. And also, let's keep it realistic about La Diva. The Grammys was 2 weeks ago. His best friend Beyonce got album of the year. Oh my God. Last year, the Super Bowl shocker. Oh my God. And then this week's shocker, he's not playing. Oh my God. He did this in a move because of Luca. If you live in LA and you're a sports fan, Sabonis, I mean, not Luca, Sh- um, Shannone, Old Totten, Shohei Ohtani, and Luca are the biggest things in LA right now. Shohei just got through doing the first 50-50 in baseball, and he won a ring, and now you got Luca. Come on now. LeBron is old news. So he got pressed and his feelings got hurt. So he had to resort to what he does best. I got to take over it because I got to take over it. Well, he does look like he's out of sorts. I mean, his routes, he can't really bend from his shoulders down. So, there's certain routes that he's supposed to square up. Travis Kelsey was used like runk like a Shaquille O'Neal in the middle. And his window to catch the balls, well, his routes are off. So he really doesn't do the kind of route running he used to do. So he's getting exposed and he becomes defective. They weren't that. Grunk was bad, but no, because I don't do crack. Um, I don't talk about it, so no, I don't do that. They both great. They both great. Ask me who I would probably take. I take Grunk over him, but it's not that Kelsey ain't close. Kelsey's close when he was in his peak. Yeah. Well, the techniques and everything. Okay. We gonna get these. I don't be doing all this trolling, so we gonna get trolls out of here. We're not having a troll day. It's very important, but it's more different than it was because when you had guys like Johnny Graham, different type Tony Gonzalez, they made them more into unilateral. Shannon Sharp was like a combo with that, but they've done different things with tight ends. It's changed. Even though I still think Kellen Winslow Sr. was one of the baddest tight ends I ever saw, and he was the first tight end that I saw that had me going out of my chair because he was so versatile. Don't get it twisted. Tight ends are more versatile than they get credit for. Because Aaron Hernandez, to me, yes. Aaron Hernandez to me was actually more athletic than Gronk. I know it's not great people like to say it, but he was. He could have done more with Aaron Hernandez. He was a freak of an athlete. Tony G was bad. It's just that he played in teams that weren't going nowhere. So it made it look like he was stat padding. But he was bad though. Well, I get trolls if it's a holiday or no, I'm used to them. So it's like when you do a live stream, you bound to have people just pop up and say any old thing and come at you. So, but I'm used to it though. Yeah, I like Tony too. He just never had a chance to play with a legit team. That's all. 50-50 split so far with the Kid Rock. I'm very appalled by that. To me, that's a no brainer. He's very pressed. Trent Green was a good quarterback. Trent Green was good. He was good. Just one of those guys that could never go to another level, but he was good though. And that just to show you they had Steve DeBerg. They had some good ones. Damn, but Mahomes was another level. Of course, they got Joe Montana past the pull date. He was still good, but he was past his peak prime. But this thing that they got, this situation they have now is on a whole nother level. Whole nother level. So yeah. Anyway, please come on through. Give me your thoughts and your takes. And if you're a visitor, come on through. As long as you're not a troll, we will take questions and we will take answers, and we look forward to having you come through, and feel free to commentate and also take the poll, so feel free to come on through. I just don't do trolls, that's all. I like to feed the soul, not the troll. Yeah, and what'd you think? Let me know what you thought, because I got that video late. Well, he ain't poor because he talking all this stuff where he's trying to like hype up Scottie Pippen, and he's like our gang. And Jordan many a times saved his behind. See, Horace is one of those guys. He had it too good, and was his nephew and his brother played in the league, and they all were all right, you know. But Horace was a settler. You don't know how lucky he had it. He got to play with Shaq in two different locations and play with Jordan and Pippen. I mean, come on now, and play with Kobe and Penny. I'm like, come on now. You had a charmed life for a guy that really didn't. Dr. J called him out and said he didn't work on his game. So that's all I gotta say about Horace. He got a lot of nerve. And you up in that old folks' home and you up here still trying to get mad, talking about, yeah, yeah, it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing it. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, come on now. Cats are embarrassing themselves with this antics. So no, it's no poor Horace. I don't like his agenda. And he gets no poor from me. He gets a sideways. In the 38 to 49 range, because 40, because the truth of the matter is, had he won in Portland, he'd have been top five, no question. And I still say 2000. He beats the Lakers. He beats Shaq and the Lakers up by 15. He goes to the finals and beats Bird, coaching Reggie Miller. I got him top five easily, and never less than five if he wins 7 rings. The problems I had with him is he didn't score enough points, and he wasn't that. But you talk about your leader and you all around, and you got to will your team, and he ain't that dude. He's a strong, high tier sidekick. I'll give you that. Can't have him top 30 because that's for guys who were what I call high tier, low high second, high second tier, low first, and then that range. He ain't that dude. Defender, yes. Defender, yeah. But when we talk about all around with Charles Oakley and all that, talking about no, no. How are you doing today? Glad to see you. Thank you for coming through. And where are you coming from, by the way? Glad to have you though. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, I mean, I like his defense. I like how he played. It's just that they fell off before that, you know. But he camouflaged and he got some people fooled, you know. So some people are so, you know, and this is narrative right now to downplay Jordan, type up, and not admit that you were a glorified sidekick, which there is nothing wrong with that because he's one of my favorite sidekick players. And he was talented, but he was never the equal to Jordan. Talented and could play all around, but he didn't have that consistency. When you talk about all around, I gotta have you where you score, your rebounds, the whole totality, not your half timiness. And that's what he was. He was half timing. Hold on, be right back. I'm gonna make one quick stop. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Keep talking though. Keep talking. I am back. I am back. Back, 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 back. Um, he was. He was. He was. Because I don't know too many people that could have played alongside of Jordan. With Jordan's ego, I don't know two people that could have. But at the same time, he wasn't this dude that was going to morph into like he was going to be. He wasn't going to morph into Kobe, and I think this is this mindset that he's somehow going to morph into something. You don't want that because the world will tear the USA behind up right now. It wouldn't. It'd be embarrassing. You give me Shea, Giannis, Jokic, and Victor Wemby. You give me those guys, they're tearing up. Because who's the best player playing in the States right now? And Ant can't mess with that. No, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Yeah, I forgot about Luca. So if you put those guys, that's gonna be a beatdown. You don't want that. You don't want that. That would not be good TV ratings. That wouldn't work. Just saying. Yeah, you think I'm playing? Do that and see what happens. Luca, Jokic, Wemby, uh Giannis. Come on. SGA. Who's stopping SGA? Who you got to stop an SGA? And you don't want that. That'd be an epic beatdown. But they always trying different things. They know that they know the game. I told you, you were asking me yesterday about him, and I told you what he's about. I didn't even think about that mess. I don't even talk about him. Yeah, well, why you think? He does punk stuff. He's always been doing, dumb stuff. That's typical of him. That ain't the only reason why I look at him sideways, but that's part of it though. But he's always done janky stuff. I don't even want to do a video about him because because he be doing stuff that always like he's a weasel. That's why, you know. No one takes him serious. There's a reason why him and Steph Curry did that uh nationwide still elevator commercials, and Steph kept going up and he went down. Because there was a time he was bigger than Steph. And then what? He left him alone. Tried to be a teammate of him, that didn't work. They didn't try him with everything. They just give him a job just to stick around. I don't even know why. I don't even with him. I don't. Well, if you like low budget entertainment, he's your man. He's Tubi. He's Tubi. That's why I would look at him as his Tubi entertainment. I don't take him serious as anything else. There's a reason why Rhonda wouldn't get at him. I saw one like, yeah. If you bite, Wimby bit, but then he missed that shot wide, that scoop. I think going against Steph Curry is like that too. You remember the finals when Steph and LeBron were on the perimeter, and then Steph got him and he hit him with that left off the glass, and LeBron went up and couldn't get it. I think that one is tough too. Don't let everybody that because Kyrie does a lot of shuffling and dancing, but Steph's going to his left is wicked too. Problem with Wimby is about footing though. He will get his timing down. He has to do is put his hands down and stay face guard. You know. Wimby gets the right proper training and the right overview, he gonna be a problem. But again, that's in a couple years. That's not gonna happen this year, and I don't think it's gonna pop. In. You're gonna see some improvements next year. He's getting better with each passing year, but I think by year 4 or 5, that's when it starts to take over. He's the next big thing after Jokic, if everything goes all systems go right. But they still got to get another scoring option to go along with him, De'Aaron Fox, and get some road dogs on the bench. Then I think with the right coaching and structure, he's gonna be something else. Lou Williams, J.R. Smith could score, but then he could be more streaky. But Lou was more consistent. J.R. Smith had better opportunities, and I like him, but he played in better situations. And remember, he with Denver and then with Cleveland, he played in better situations. Lou, given the same situations, I think he would have thrived. I think Lou moved me more. J.R. Smith settled for a rideman of the outside world when actually he was a somewhat of a starter. But this is the anti. He was always in good situations though. He just was his own worst enemy. That's all. But I like Lou. I used to call him Sweet Lou. All right. But that's a good question. Everybody out there, feel free to come on if you got any comments. You want to take the poll, feel free to do. We're enjoying this Monday. Some people are celebrating, some people aren't. But wherever you are in the world, hope you're enjoying your Monday. Hope it's a good day. Staying warm. Come on in here, do this live stream, and let's talk. So feel free. And if everything goes right, I'll be on for an hour and a half. So if it goes wrong, I will jump after an hour. It all depends on how people come through because I want to make sure that we both have on the same syncopation and conversation. Syncopation and conversation. Let's go. If you take them off the Celtics, they still win. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell was the difference in that 2008 finals. He was the difference. He came up big. What he did off the bench. You know. Now 2020, they don't win. Um, he was the right floor general for Anthony Davis and the right balance for LeBron and for Dwight and all those guys. He was the right temperament. Rondo could actually make it as NBA head coach. I think the Celtics win in spite of him because Sam Cassell, who's another guy who should be given a head coaching job, was leading the charge with the second team in that finals. Good question, but I was ready for that one. But I do think a lot of Rondo. He was one of my favorite guards in the O's. No, stats is not there. If you talking about a work ethic and an IQ, yeah. But we're talking about based on the stats and stuff, no. And I know I had a buddy of mine. We used to debate this all the time. See, it's funny you ask this because he used to say, "Well, he's got two rings and he played for Boston Lakers." I said, "Yeah, but he's not a Hall of Famer. And plus, there's too many politics against him. The whole mess in Dallas over him and Rick Carlisle, why he got thrown around. He played for quite a few teams, and it didn't fit. And it's a shame too because his IQ was off the chain. He's got one of the highest IQs of a basketball player, and in a low budget way, like Magic and Jason Kidd perform, he could beat you with scoring less than 5 points a game. He could do other things. He was in your ear, in your face, in your mind. When you ask me who am I taking, you giving me the best that I got as far as teams go. I'm gonna go with Rondo. Chauncey had a better shooting. He was a better shooter, even though Rondo did develop a 3 point. Because remember, Rondo was self check. He was self check for a long time. But I like his game more. Chauncey was a better pure scorer, but it took Larry Brown's system for him to really get his game to that level. Whereas Rondo, he frustrated you because he got at you, but he more than carried his weight with Garnett, Pierce, and them, and Ray Allen, all of them. He more than carried his weight. So I'm gonna take Rajon. I like Chauncey a lot, but Chauncey to me played his best with Larry Brown in Detroit. Before that, he was scattered. Talented, but a wild card. Wild card. Well, that was a different era. And see, remember, you go to the gas station and do self-check, that's how they treated him until he learned how to shoot. But what I liked is he had other aspects of his game which were better. His assists, his defense, his intensity, the intact to get up at you. That's what made me like Rondo more. Because he did the other things that were not so subtle. Well, Ben Simmons played pretty good the other night. I don't think you. I did a video about him with the Clippers, and actually, Ben Simmons right now, unlike Joel Embiid and Paul George, is looking like a really good former Sixer. So Ben is actually, Ben's problem is psychological, but he's one of those guys. I seen him put up monster games, so it's one of those guys that hey, if you get the good of him, it could be a problem. But I like Rondo a lot, and I'm gonna take Rondo because it was him. Well, y'all suck. That's why. Y'all suck. You got one guy who can't play back-to-back games, and you got another guy who does podcasts for a living. He's under contract. So what am I supposed to do with that? We're supposed to do with that? Why they 15 games under 500? Told you before. Like my team sucks. I ain't saying jack. You ain't hear me talking about the Heat. Aside from individual play, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. This is my bag on my head. If you ask me, I'll be real with you, but I ain't got no delusion of grandeur. Not at all. Not at all. Because I know that where my team is concerned, we either gonna go for the top or we just at the bottom. There's no in between, especially Pat Riley exposed us. So I don't say none of that. But I expected Philadelphia. I can't believe I actually see fans saying that. Because it's three straight times McLovin's got some popularity. And Vince Carter seems like ancient to a lot of heads, which it is. I mean, let's be realistic. That's half somebody's life right there when that was happening. No, he wouldn't beat no Vince, but you got to understand something. The slam dunk contest has become such just like boxing with Jake Paul, which I did a video about. That these content creator, these guys who play pseudo part time hobby, blow up. A guy, well, the only reason why he might have hope to beat Vince, I'm gonna give him one feint of hope because he don't play regular season basketball. So, I mean, let's keep it 100. His NBA career is probably like Bronny James's is. I mean, come on now. So he got plenty of time to practice his dunking because he don't really put him in regular season games. It's like this turkey dresses up, probably plays what once a month, stays practice squad, goes down to the G League, and then when it's time for slam dunk contest, that's when he's ready. That's all he do. I mean, that's what he do. It's not like it's not like he's playing a whole week. But no, Vince shut it down. That was the last slam dunk contest that I cared about. Because if it wasn't for him, T Mac and Steve Francis, those was some real dunks. You ain't had nothing like that since. I like Jason Richardson, but don't come at me with the Zach Levine, Aaron Gordon finals run. I mean, come on now. But that's how bad it is. Because he don't play. Okay. He sucks. He really ain't a player. He's athletic, but he really can't play. And he don't play no defense and he don't shoot. And he's basically a hype machine. This is what the NBA has come to. The NBA tried this mess in the 90s with Harold Miner, except back then they didn't glorify cats that were wannabes or American Idol reject contestants. This is what you McLovin is what's up. I call him Mac McLovin. That's what it is, because it's like he's gonna become a slogan and a phrase. Um, they probably don't want him. Have you ever thought of that? They may not want him. I don't really think there's a lot to his game. I don't, you know. I think it's another gimmick that Adam Silver's got up his sleeve. Bring McLovin out. you know. I remember a time when it was a white guy that was winning the slam contest with Brett Bonesberry. Brett Bonesberry did it like, oh. And so now he's a three-peat champion. It's some kind of like, oh wow, this is the kind of. There's a lot of ways you can go with this, though. So it's entertainment, but he ain't got no game, though. If the cat had a game, he was on your Sixers team. He was with the Lakers. Believe me, as much as they like gimmicks in the NBA, if he could halfway play, if he had a Jeremy Lin 3 week run in him, that would buy him at least a decade in the NBA. It ain't there. Yeah, but Dan Marley could actually play. Dan Marley's actually good. You know, he's a different league than when Dan Marley played. They didn't have G leaguers. Yeah, G leaguers. As far as their own league, they didn't bring them up to play in the NBA. They weren't doing what they're doing with this. This is some different thing that what Adam Silver be doing is etch and sketch. And if you ever had etch and sketch, like how you could draw something in, erase something. He's doing etch and sketch. That's what he doing. He not, But if you don't know no better and you just want cheap entertainment, this is perfect for you. As long as you don't have a dog in the race and you ain't really, but you're a casual fan, this is perfect entertainment. That's what it is. Not until you have to open up your brain and go, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting a hoodwink. This ain't really the best they have to offer. Because I see John Morant. Publicly, he ain't. Privately, he is. Publicly, he gonna create all these kind of generic, superficial. They talk about bringing games to England and playing in Manchester, and they gonna the problem that he runs into. There's a couple problems. They star driven. It's star driven. I get asked about Jason Tatum, why he didn't get the MVP, because Jason Tatum, if him and Jalen Brown could morph into each other and you could get one of that, that'd be considered top 12, 15 player all time right now. Because they play for the Celtics, they got hardware, they've been successful, and just the name alone. Problem is, he can't sell that. And all of his best players are from overseas, and people can't say their names. They can't say Shea. They can say Luca, but they don't really like Luca because Luca like Doughboy, and Luca don't stay healthy, and Luca is a defensive liability, and he's injury prone and he's half hearted. If he play like he's supposed to, and they get some out of him, but if he wins, then they'll. But again, and then be honest, they can't say his name. They don't like where he plays. He plays in Milwaukee, which is like Saudi Arabia. Jokic, they can't say his name. He's like plays in Beijing. Yeah, but they couldn't win with him. So let me break that down to you. Luca did not incorporate Brunson the right way. And Porzingis was a guy who was best as the third wheel, who couldn't stand in seat as the second wheel. So that didn't work. They had no real identity. They were just guys that had talent. The Brunson one is the most embarrassing one, but it's also an indictment about how much of a ball hog Luca is. Because Brunson went to New York and become what? A star. There you go. So that should tell you right there one of the reasons why the Luca LeBron thing might not work. Because he had a guy like Brunson who was actually a ball contributor mover than LeBron James is. And Brunson can haul the ball, but Brunson also moves around. Porzingis is where he's supposed to be in Boston as a third, fourth option. That's where he's his most dangerous. So that's not, you know, but it didn't work. Didn't work. So please continue to hit the like and hit the subscribe and also comments, and welcome to come on through and let's talk. See how everything is going today on this Monday or wherever you are in the world. It may be Tuesday. I don't know. Wherever you are, please feel free to comment. And as long as you're not a troll, we can get along and be good to go. Take a little break. Message just came through good. The All Star game when I was a kid watching was a cakewalk in Paris. Yeah, well, those days are long gone. Long gone. Long gone. The There is no incentive to do better. There is no motivation to do better. There's no. Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon me. So it was a different era. It was a different era. It was a time period where you had people that were incentives to win. It's no longer like that. No longer like that. Forgive me, there was a buzzer going on, so I had to take care of some stuff. But it's all good. So it's changed. It's changed. It's changed. It's changed. It's definitely different than it was. So that's what's up. Yeah. So that's how I look at it. Hmm. Giannis said he would do something for Jar did, but Giannis don't package is so funny. He's a good, strong in game dunker, but he doesn't have anything to offer, you know, um, pretty much. To be honest with you, my favorite thing that Giannis does with his hops is when he blocks shots. I think that is like acrobat. I love to watch him block shots. His timing is impeccable. I think he has That is impressive. But his dunks don't really do much for me. But his blocking, oh yeah. Ja would be worth watching. Ja would be. Because he gets up. But no one wants to watch Giannis do no dunk contest. He just saying it though. He just saying it. They all just saying it. They don't really want to touch it no more. There ain't no money for them to do it, and also there is no allure. And it's not going to do anything for their careers. It really ain't. I think some cats saw what happened with Vince Carter, and he never went beyond that. So yeah, well, he bunny hopped, and he did things that he was supposed to do in totality. I think what he did, uh, he found himself by utilizing his body to contort himself into drives and moves and everything like that. But you probably wouldn't be impressed because you just would think that he's a one trick pony because it looks like he walks and carries. I don't even think he carries. He does walk, but when he glides, he goes in directly too. But I think his block shots are very impressive though. So I would say that about him. I would say that. But he did come a long way from where he was because I remember when he first came out, he was skinnier, didn't really have any direction, and he made himself into a better player. So I think that that was one of the things that, you know, but James Harden basically said he's a 7 foot brick, say he was one trick. They used to build a wall to stop him. That's how you stopped him till he won the title. That's what Miami did. I remember you build a wall, you know. But he actually's got more fluid now. He does a sidestep thing, which is nice. And he is acrobatic and athletic. But as I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, your Laker fan and your former Laker, he was never as talented as Anthony Davis. If AD had Giannis's mindset, we talking top 7 or 8 ever, because you couldn't stop his athleticism. But Giannis made himself into an all-time great, so I have to give him incredible for that, to work at and to keep at and to get better. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah. And I always give credit where credit is due. That's what I saw with Giannis. Jokic got better because Jokic actually worked on his game, and then he was able to play on and off the ball. That's why he's more effective than he was a few years ago. He just kept on working on his game, and then you know, he worked on his steps and his movements. So now he can, and that's gotten better. It's subtle, but it's gotten better. So I watch guys progress. Joel Embiid had great inside outside operation with movement and a shooting ability. It's just he can't stay healthy and he can't really do much with off the rock. So he tends to become kind of lax. Well, that's the marketing. That's the marketing. I mean, when you come off like that, that means you got no personality. That's what that means in English. That's the translation. Because if a cat is, natural with what he is, he's come off natural. I know Giannis come a long way, so it's all political, yo. Anybody tell you differently? I mean, it's all acting. I know what you mean, but that's how they have to play the game. Because if you don't play the game a certain way, you don't win. You don't get no notoriety. Basketball and football is different, though. JJ Watt is trying to set himself up for a Howie Long post career. In football, it's different because they go find you and put a blaze on you. Basketball, they don't put a blaze on you. They put you for they set you up for other endeavors. So and Giannis has an appeal that works. Problem is, he plays in Milwaukee. And he knows it. He knows it. And believe me, if he went to LA or teamed up with Steph today, tomorrow, he'd be 100 times bigger than he is now. People just don't want to hear me tell it like it is. Because I got a feeling that Milwaukee stinks like I think they gonna stink, and Doc Rivers does Doc Rivers things, and Dame Lillard does Dame things. They're gonna put them in the market, and you'll see some shakeup. Because there's too much relying on. Remember what Kareem did, and you've seen this story before. Yeah, you win in a small time, but you don't thrive in the small. And there's a lot going on. So if they goes through another doldrums year, because they're not better than Boston, they're not better than Cleveland, they're better than New York. So with three teams ahead, even though you can make the case he's still arguably the best player in the East, if he ain't winning, he ain't gonna be running. So, but it's a good topic, a good discussion though. Please continue to hit the like, hit the punch, come on through. See, we got a few heads out here, so we're gonna see what we're working with. But what we consider a cool thing that Dame did, I ain't see it. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Dame does have a personality underneath him. It's just that on the court, I'm just not buying him winning at all. That's all. But he does seem to have good intentions, though. You know, and I don't go hating on him to be hating on him. I just know that he just doesn't. Consistency ain't his middle name. That's all. So yeah. Anyway, that's cool for Dame, though. Well, that's because his mindset. Because see, that's what happens when you don't win nothing. You know, and he that's the kind of nonsense that Adam Silver has promoted, which cats get ribbons and now they think that they done something and they get they toast. That's how cheap an NBA has become. They got all kinds of ribbons and trophies and plaques and participations like we're at the church and you get the brownie and you win a candy bar and you win a pop and you know how this mess is. That's why the NBA is a joke, you know. I wouldn't want to build around neither one of them, but I guess I would say by default Carmelo. Because at least with Melo, you think you can win. Yeah, I mean, I always said if Melo was to be a cherry picker and go play for a team, he could cherry pick. He could have set himself up. Dame, at the position he is, he should be more dominant than Melo ever was because he's in an era where guards have access to green light, and he got paid to do in Portland to finish it and get knocked out in the second round every year and never added on nothing. I'm always gonna have an issue with Dame because he messed up with Lamarcus Aldridge, so I don't pay him no attention. And I see him with Giannis, and they trying to give him some credibility, and no, but I don't want to build around either one of them. Melo blew his options with Denver, and he went to New York, and he modeled, and he had opportunity to play for better teams, and he chose to get the bag and the lifestyle. And so, and he crying because no one remembers him Denver because he said Jokic got his number. Well, Jokic did way more than he ever did in Denver. So that's why I'm not really fond of neither one of them, if you must know. Because Melo should have had a better career in Denver. because Dwight was never on Shaquille O'Neal's level. And the thing about it is, Dwight is athletic and strong and all that, but he ain't got no real offensive game, which he never matured enough to get. B, he never know how to plant his feet against because Shaq was a raw natural talent. Dwight never learned. See, when people say Shaq uh say all this underachieved, don't Dwight Howard's the one that underachieved. Shaquille O'Neal had rules set up against how dominant he was. They had to make everybody ordinary to try to make it ordinary to go against him. You never saw Dwight Howard throwing no 20 on nobody when he was washed. But Dwight didn't last as long as Shaq. Well, again, you need to understand you only know people for their talents. You don't know them as people. So that's the case with all of them, you know. But Dwight couldn't wear him out on offense. And that's the fact. And Dwight never got better. Dwight was like a gimmick. That's why Shaq can't stand it. At least when Shaq talks about Elijah One, and he talks about David Robinson, and he talks about even Patrick Ewing, and he don't talk about Will Russell, Kareem. They brought something, you know. Dwight was a guy who had the talent, but eh, he would, except he ain't gonna get that option. Shaq's not gonna entertain him. He ain't gonna entertain him. That's all. And I wish Shaq would leave him alone. You know, Shaq's petty. Shaq's career speaks for itself. Dwight's nowhere near his resume. So he leaves JaVale alone. Because JaVale told him, he said, look, JaVale's mama got involved. And JaVale said, I looked up to him. He said he was the GOAT to me. So he left him alone. But JaVale did do a lot of buster moves until he played with the Lakers and he got better. But it's just that you see guys who are big logins and don't do nothing. So that's what that was about. No, no. I like JaVale O'Connor. He was good for what he did, you know. Tell you one thing, the Lakers show could use him now. He was. He fit in good with Golden State too. It's just that that type of player is not wanted in the NBA today. And they could have him in there, but they don't want him in there. They want guys that can shoot threes, and you can, you got to be able to knock a three ball. That wasn't going to be JaVale's purpose. The White can shoot a three now, but because he's got that Diddy out little stuff over him, that's what's up. That's why nobody gonna touch the White. So the White already knows he ain't, they're not gonna do that though. Because they want to have systematic um it's call it the Sixers GM analytics, that's what's up. That's what JJ Ridiculous does. It's all analytics, you know. Even though that was a dumb move to let Max Christie go, because actually Max Christie was a good fit for the Lakers. But it's the analytics that they go by. That's what they go by. They're not analyzing guys based on what they need. They're going by the analytics. They're trying to shoot them out the back. That's why you get blowed up by Utah. Mhm. But you don't hear me though. That's what they are. The old Lakers, whatever. Frank Vogel's a different coach than JJ Redick, and it just goes to show. So, all right. Well, let me know if you're still on. We're still talking. Mm, Big Poppy. Because Albert, when he was with St. Louis, I would have said no brainer, but he went to the Angels. He didn't really do it. A Rod was only like that dude when they were up by like 5 runs. He wasn't clutch. But Poppy, yeah, it's Big Poppy. It's a good question, but that's not hard for me to answer because I didn't see them all in a totality. But that's who I take. Why would you think I was? Because I was a Yankee fan? Because I like A Rod. A Rod was the better of the three, but he wasn't clutch like that. If you know Alex Rodriguez, he always he gave you those empty calorie 3 run home runs. It wasn't a lot of clutch with him. And I like Albert in St. Louis would have been closer. But Big Poppy, that's a no brainer. Okay, well, yeah, you need to look up all three. That's a good question you asked, but you need to look up all three. Then you get your answer. Because Big Poppy was so dangerous against the Yankees. They had a jersey of his bird at the old Yankee Stadium because they had the respect for him. I mean, he was big time. He was clutch. Remember, Boston swept St. Louis in that World Series, so that was when I mean, no, A Rod wasn't that dude like that. Not clutch, not with that. So, mm-mm. I say Poppy easily, and then Pujols will come a distant second than A Rod. All right, please continue to keep hitting likings, hitting everything. 75% so far saying that yeah, Kid Rock is pressed. Thank you for taking the poll. I appreciate that. And I know he is. I know he is. I already know. All right. So let's see what we talking about. We're gonna keep the conversation going. We're gonna see if we get some lively thoughts. Feel free to converse and let me know what you're talking about. See what we got. Okay. All right, we're gonna see what we got. Feel free to hit the conversations, the comments. I'm just reading stuff and just waiting to see what's coming on through. See what I got. Okay, okay, we're going to do E. Going to do E. Okay, we'll see if anybody's still there. I'm gonna see if I got anybody still here. If I don't get any response in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna call it a day because I want to get conversation. And it's important that we have conversation. So if anybody's on, feel free to communicate. If not, I will cut this thing down. Been on an hour. Let's see what's going on. So just don't stand by. See if anybody's talking. Sure, Monday day, people going on, got things they going to do, got much to say. So we're just gonna stand by. I'll probably get another 10 minutes, see if anybody come through. Get this cough drop. I'll probably be back. Today I'll be back this weekend. So just a message. If y'all want to talk, you gotta let me know because I don't want to come on here and people gotta come on the show. Let me know. I did a video on it and I talked about how disgusting it was. Yes, it was. You gotta ask. You know it was disgusting. And she did it for clicks and views, and the industry is promoting it. That's what she does. That's what she does. Bernice King, Dr. King's daughter, spoke out against him. It's done on purpose. Mhm. The industry wants that. It is very much because it manipulates images and, manipulates music and manipulates film. They be sitting on a whole lot of things. It's nothing new though. Um, the National Enquirer and Star Magazine used to photo generate pictures back in the day. So so been photo distortion for years. Okay. Yeah, they've done that. Well, if he's moving fast in there, it's not real. So, wow, wow. He don't move that fast. He don't move that fast. I saw his practicing shots with LeBron. He was shooting those long balls. Mm, He's got a lot of movement for a guy who he gets a lot out. Mhm. I hope for y'all sake he don't turn into a grandpa before your eyes, though. We'll see though. We shall see. Please feel free to hit the like. Anybody's around, feel free to come on through. I will probably be on for another half hour tops, maybe less. It depends on what kind of buzz I get. Kicking fans out of what? I haven't seen anything with him. I don't know what he's doing. Mm. Just waiting. What he kicking fans out of though? I know they're going to Dallas. I mean, they're going to Vegas. I know that's on the cards. That's going to be on the cards sometime soon. So I don't know. Mm. This ain't the first time a GM and let somebody go, so it's a bit much. I mean, yes, they got to the finals, but Luca has been a casualty. Luca hasn't been performing like a team that was a runner-up supposed to. So they got tired of dealing with him. That's all. Turkey sitting up eating Fritos and Cheetos all the day and ain't playing no ball and ain't exercising. You know. Yep. Well, fans don't have a lot to cheer about in Dallas. That's all. So I get it. Cowboys suck, and the Mavericks don't look like they're going back. The better team was the 72 Lakers. The better run was the 83 Sixers. Good question, but and I'll use that one for a little bit later. I'll use that one for one of my future episodes. Thank you, though, because I did like that one. I think that 83 Sixers 1 year wonder was great for what they did in the postseason. I think that's where it showcased the most. And I thought they had you know, they were fun to watch, but that Lakers team was, I think, you had better caliber overall. Just saying. That's hard to say because again, eras changed and when I go 1 year wonders, the 83 Sixers team, the '01 Lakers, the '96 Bulls, the '16 Warriors, it's kind of hard because you had different eras, different times, different tangibles. So I seen great ones in the '80s, '90s. Um, Best team I saw in the '00s was it was that '00s Lakers team. That was great. So it's somewhere split. It depends on what your tangibles are, what rules we're playing with. I didn't say anything about that Miami Heat 2013 and they won all those games. They They didn't look that special in the postseason. So, but I think he played his best championship ball in Miami. I think he played his best basketball, wins and losses percentages, But that's all I'm gonna say with that. So teams cover all the different areas. Areas. So that's what I would say with that, though. I know some people ain't gonna like it when they're gonna say, well, because it's hard to narrow it down to one team because rules have changed, style of basketball has changed. Um, the Celtics style in the '80s was different than what the Bulls went with in the '90s, and then what you had with Shaq and Kobe and their triangle was different than what you would have with, you know, Golden State, just a different runs. So, okay. All right. Please continue to hit subscribe and come on through. If you're gonna be on, let me know. I'll see what I'm working with. I'll probably be on for just a little while longer. All right. Okay. Check out. Okay, I'll probably conclude in about 5 minutes. I don't. Okay, there you go. Glad you came back. Start bench cut. I'm gonna start Iceman. I'm gonna bench Dantley and I'm gonna cut English. Because George Gervin could flat out just go. I mean, he wear you out. So you have to use that. And then Danley would come in and just be he just had a way of just kind of just laying it on in. You couldn't really, so Alex would have to take the last of the roles with those three. Yeah. I liked English a lot. But those other two guys, Gervin's finger roll and drive would miss you crazy, and Dantley would wear down the defenses and the free throws. So that's the reason. But English was bad though. Okay. So that's how I would start with that. Brad Darty. Now, Ralph Sampson was kind of like Victor Wimby without the, pure shooting. He was big, tall, long, lean. And had he played in today's game, he probably would have been scarier. He was the big that could play like a guard. It just that he had injuries and he just didn't fulfill. Brad Darty came in the NBA and he was another them of that Dean Smith, better than you knew he was going to be. Because Darty was like a precursor to Tim Duncan. And I'm not just talking shade either. It's just that timing missed him up with Cleveland. Skill set was there though. They both lost it out, but Brad Darty moved me more. I never thought Ralph Sampson with Olajuwon was a turning point, and I never thought of his game that was that deep. I liked him, but I always thought he was in the wrong situation. He needed to go somewhere he could run and gun, and he would have been sick with Magic. Just saying. You have to go back to when he played for the Virginia Cavaliers in college. That's the best Ralph Sampson. His college year, but Brad Darty was bad in college too. But Darty was like a precursor to Duncan, and I like Brad Darty too. That's why when Shaq told Pat Riley about Lonzo Mourning having a six pack and being all that, it's overrated, which it is. Because Shaq changed his system three different times. That's what people don't realize. He was compact six pack Giannis style in Orlando, muscular, bulky with the Lakers. Then he got bigger, and then he went back to a regular size with Miami. But he used three different sizes to where he was in totality. He was smarter than he give credit for. He was more astute. They just have you thinking he was a one trick pony who just bamboozled and bullied people. You get me? That's why guys don't understand. If you got something to make it work, you gotta have something. He was cut, physical, but he was mentally sharp too. And remember, Scottie Pippen beats that version. 2000 Shaq, because that's where peaking. That's where coaching and the uncanny ability kicked in. King couldn't mess with that. Mm-mm, mm-mm. That 2000 Shaq was one of the best eras in basketball history. Period. So, that's what I got. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Okay. Magic 87. And for one main reason. They won the title, and he wasn't burnt. He wasn't burnt out. Curry played a great year as a regular season, but he was spent in the postseason. So I give Magic, he paced himself better. Curry was spent. If Steph Curry today played like that now, he would have won it all because he's better. He's more conditioned than he was then. He's stronger and he's got better nuance of himself. Magic paced himself better. That's a good debate, though. That's a good debate. I don't have a problem with saying Magic because he finished up stronger. Curry was spent because he could pass, he could utilize, and he knew how to split with ball handling skills. He knew how to cut. He never got caught for too many offensive fouls. He utilized his size. He understood angles. It's like he was driving stick shift from the court. Oh yeah, he could get in the box. He could definitely post you down, and you had to draw on him. And he had a little bit of a spin move. I mean, it's the little things that he did. So that's a good question. Good tidbits. Because people don't really talk about that about Magic, but he was a lot deeper than you think he was. Mhm. He did. Again, one of the few guys that could score less than 3 points and could beat you in so many ways. That's what makes GOAT status right there. That's why I'm one of the few people that will say this. I call Steph Curry a better guard than him, but Magic Johnson was a better overall player than Steph. And that's what separates the two. Because Magic could beat you so many ways. Yeah, I give you that. I give you that. Because Bird was a better shooter. He could rebound, he could assist, he could lead breaks, he could play half court basketball. And his teammates played great under him just as Magic's did. So I give you that. I can't argue that. So that's all. I was a big Bird fan. Bird was bad. No questions asked. They still trying to chase one. They can't. He still want to win because Luca ain't it. Yeah, but the thing about Magic is that everybody getting on the act though. It's just different though. That's all. But Bird just wasn't given the same finesse. But he was. I watched his passing. I watched him go behind the back, make stuff happen. He hit that corner, and he would scare folks. You know, once we get past about his lack of athleticism, We just stick to what he actually did. You'll see why Bird was where he was. So, and athleticism is overrated because if you don't use it the right way, you embarrass yourself. So, now what did he say? I don't go around quoting Ocho, so let me know what he said. What he say? You got me in suspense. Let me know what he said. It's funny how his TV career and podcast career is bigger than his NFL career was. Because if he stayed with Cincinnati, he may have been a it would have been a close call for maybe for Hall of Fame. His antics outweighed him, and he was always a double junior whopper TO to me. So I'll find out what this turkey said though. I'm in suspense, and I need you to come back and let me know what did this guy say? Wow. That's just wow. I don't know. Cats feel the need to tell all their business, all their information now. She probably using them for the bag. I know one of them was. I know that for a fact. He was getting. So I don't pay a lot of attention to him. He always got some job antics, so I don't pay him a lot of attention. He was entertaining when he played, and then he went to the Patriots, and then it just went kaboom. Yeah. But anyway, most of them were. A lot of them were. Travis Henry used to play for the Buffalo Bills till like about 9. Yeah, he is kind of forgotten. Phillip Rivers got about 6, 7 himself. Yeah, he was good. He just played for teams that were scrub teams. That's why people don't remember him. But he had a distinctive name, and he had quickness, and he had handles. He just played for the wrong team. That's all it was. Had he played for a team that was contending, he would have gotten more attention. If you're a Chargers fan, the last 40 years, you know how they ever tell you that more things stay change, more they stay the same? That's the Chargers. The same things I saw as a kid, the same things I see now. All that talent, and only one Super Bowl appearance to show for it. All that talent. Because growing up back then, the Air Coryell with Dan Fouts and them, they thought they couldn't play in the cold. They didn't play no defense. Always had some excuse. Then you get to the 90s, they actually get the Super Bowl with Stan Humphries and Natron Means, but then they get clobbered by the 49ers. Then you get to the OOs with Drew Brees. He gets shipped out. Eli turns him down. They stuck with Phillip Rivers and they stuck with LaDainian Tomlinson. The Patriots clown them, lose. Then you get to Justin Herbert and Antonio Gates and all that. So I mean, like they've had I forgot all about talking about Junior Seau back then. Had all this top tier talent. They had two of the greatest tight ends ever, one of the greatest middle linebackers ever, one of the greatest running backs ever, one of the greatest quarterbacks and argument. Look at all they had. Marty Schottenheimer Uh, Dan Coryell just never got the job done. Yep, in the cold game. That was the game back in '81. It was cold. Played arguably one of the greatest football games I've ever seen. It's in my top 2 to 3 NFL when they played Miami in that playoff game when Kellen Winslow Sr. went off. Man, that was an incredible game. But yeah, the receiver core they have with West Chandler, Charlie Joyner, John Jefferson were beast. Fouts had a Lotus, James Brooks in the backfield. Just never got the job done. Yep. So that's the problem. So yeah, if you're a Chargers fan, you've suffered for 4 decades. I mean, for real. I mean, yeah. I think they've had it tougher than anybody with that kind of talent they had. Because you've had something of everything in every position and you just ain't won. So yeah. So that's what's up. But it's funny you mentioned the Chargers though. That's what's up. People still keep on hitting the poll questions, keep on delivering, and I welcome people to come through. I'm going to I'll be concluding fairly soon. But let me know if y'all want to do live though. Let me know. That's a good question. That's a good question. You know what? I'm gonna use that for a future episode. Bigger name, because that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. So let me write that down. Bigger name in college. I'm gonna use that for one of my future. I'll do that for a future one. Not nothing in the immediate, but somewhere in the months ahead, maybe in the summer, I'll use that for one. To answer your question, to me, to me, bigger name was Reggie Bush. Tebow was great in Florida, but you gotta remember, um, he had the coach, he had the system, he had the format. But Reggie Bush SC, the historical implications, you know, um, that alone, you gotta remember, we're playing for SC carried more weight than the Florida Gators. The SC was like must see TV, and though Tebow and them won, Bush did too. He was seen as like, is he going to be the next second coming of OJ and Marcus Allen? I mean, he was projected to be that kind of a back. Tebow was big, but it was a different type of big. It ain't hard for me because I remember them SC games. I remember seeing Snoop on the sidelines, people coming to go see USC play because there were actually some people thought SC could have beaten some NFL teams. They were huge. They were huge. And I remember when um, they had played um, a game against Texas, which was one of the most sought after games, which was huge. That that if they had a won that game, that's still the greatest college football game I ever saw. So I gotta say Reggie Bush. I gotta say, he was dating a Kardashian. Uh, he, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, who had the more memorable NFL careers? Tebow. because he won all those games with the Broncos. Reggie Bush never, he won a Super Bowl. That was kind of like the afterthought. His NFL career wasn't as near as memorable. But Tebow's wasn't either, but he was more notarized. But in college, I gotta go Reggie Bush. But that's a great question, though. I would have thought it's hard because of quarterback and running back, but Bush was big, yo. He was big. But good question. That's definitely gonna be something that I talk about in a future video. You'll be giving me some good topics to work on. But I do those for what I call my later episodes in the year for the summertime. Nothing that I would do right now because we're not near college football season and plus, but summertime somehow I'll be thinking, yeah. And I can run with it because, and plus Bush lost his Heisman Trophy, you remember? So all that mess with Pete Carroll. So all that stuff was yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, it was after the fact. I think they did it, but it's just that and that game against Texas, which is probably the greatest college football game I've seen, and it has so much implications. Vince Young played one of the greatest games ever, and the play calling and everything. You because you had so much at stake. Vince Young played out his mind. He played out his mind. He was played an incredible game. I haven't seen a better college football game since then. You know, and I thought up until that, what I saw games that I liked a lot. I thought that Ohio State against Miami Rose Bowl was classic. Maurice Claret went off, but that one with Texas and USC had so much going at stake. Heisman Trophy winner against Heisman Trophy in USC's backyard. I think that's what makes it more that he went there and he took. And then that fourth down play with Lindell White, Matt Lott. Well, they own you. I mean, you gotta understand something. When you have those awards and all this stuff, they can act funny with you. Remember, it's entertainment. It's not what you think. And he took too much of a hit for a college cat. So well, didn't affect Pete Carroll none, but it affects it's like Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan. You gotta remember something. Ones that left behind, those are the ones who get impacted, not the coaches, because they gonna still get paid. They break rules and regulations all the time and they still get going. You're the one that's holding the bag. So that's why I say all the time there's a lot of Paulo tricks. So that's what's up. Okay. Let's get some more questions going. So we can see what we're on the road to. If you say so. I'm not interested in it. I look at a guy as I call him Pete Christmas Carol. When Ted used to come on here, we used to talk about all the time. The guy, if he didn't choke so many, just do dumb stuff, he would have been more decorated. You realize the right play calling in the game against Texas and the right play calling against New England in the Super Bowl. That guy has two sets of rings in college and NFL. You realize that? Just how close he was. He ain't gonna talk about that because it's embarrassing. I'd rather have him say that him and Tom Brady played a game of poker the night before and he lost. It's tell me you threw it anything. Don't tell me that that's the best thing you could draw up as a slant hook pass play was right in the middle of the field for a pick. And you're trying to throw the ball on a man's hip at the joke and it got picked. You just can't tell me that with a straight face. And if you utilize that wide receiver the right way, you throw an alley oop to the back of the end zone. You don't throw a straight flush to the leg, to the you know, to the waist, to the hips. That's just so but I remember being there and I remember Seahawks fans, they never talk about that Super Bowl. They act like it never happened. Oh, of course. It's corporate America, yo. There was this kind of scene that him and the GM had gotten all these brothers for discount prices. And when they started to win, they would, but somehow they become the anti-heroes. He always think he's the smartest person in the room, just like Belichick. And the funny thing, the irony of ironies, Lynch is getting more endorsements than anyone that was associated with that, ironically. I mean, Richard Sherman still gets some juice. Russell never really sold as a product pitchman. They did. Because he would have been Mahomes before Mahomes in a way. Not as talented as Russell. I mean, not as talented as Mahomes, but definitely had skills, but imagery, but he just was corny and then stuff backfired. And that divided that locker room up and they were never the same. And rightfully so. Trying to be cute when you should have just gone ahead and go for the game and that was it. So they probably told him we don't want to have Marshawn up there talking about I take a stand so I don't get fined. They don't they want that. It's not just what you see on the field, it's other things that you don't see. So it's a lot of politics involved. I tell people all the time, politics. You got people that will say and do anything strange for the change, and they will say whatever. The same thing in college. That's why I call him Pete Christmas Carol. Ted was here. He tell you why I call him Pete Christmas Carol. Cause he done too much dumb stuff. Why his resume should be even better. Yeah. Now it was more impressive what they did to Peyton because with Brady did look okay against him. But once Brady found a soft spot on the right side, he started going there and they couldn't cover it. And so that's what opened it up. But yeah, if you did that, you did because at the time Russell Wilson had an incredible record against top tier quarterbacks. He had an incredible record. And they beat New England and Seattle that year because Sherm talked trash to Brady in the game. And they beat him. And Russell was just winning in Seattle. He was like it wasn't nothing to it. But after that Super Bowl, fortunes changed forever. So yeah, he found a soft spot on the right interior. There was I don't know the linebacker spot, but he found an opening where he just used, he was hitting some passes, about 5 or 6 passes in a row. And one thing about Brady, he's a rhythmic type of dude. So if you give him a groove, he knows what to do with it. He ain't gonna blow it. And he found a sweet spot, and that's what they kept doing. But still having said all that, that catch that I can't think of his name now for Seattle made an incredible catch to get them deep. And you gotta win that game. You gotta win that game. Because dude caught the ball with the ball stuck in his legs, through his legs, and it held on. You gotta win that game. He was good. He was good for a while. Then he got traded to Beirut, went to the Raiders, and that was the end of it. Had a good run. Married to Carrie, what's Carrie, the actress. Yeah, which kind of caught people off guard. Mhm. Mhm. So, yeah, I haven't really thought about him in a minute though, but he was good. Mhm. It's funny the names you mentioned because he was happening for a minute. Yeah, well, it happens like that. But Philly usually does a good job of drafting. The Eagles don't mess up on their drafts. The problem that Philadelphia runs into is that sometimes they overdraft the quarterback chain. They always get lucky with the backs, and sometimes with the receivers, it depends on, So they can be streaky on some things. Some things they're on point, some things are not. But they tend to draft great though. I remember what he said, but it was unfortunate because they ran him out the league. You know. I don't remember ever. I remember he said something, but again, you know, he came up big for his time, and he played pretty good in the NFL. I remember Stephen A. Smith was hating on his arm, his sidearm, but Vince was decent. It's just that they had an agenda against him. That's all I was. So, so we got. Well, Jeff Fisher Price is what I used to call him. But see, Jeff Fisher, in his defense, did get to a Super Bowl. Marvin Lewis just had a bad team that he got to coach for 30 years because nobody else wanted the job and they stunk. But Jeff Fisher actually did do something. He did have a playoff. He did have postseason. Marvin Lewis had postseason, but his team did stupid stuff. So Fisher did better, but that's not saying much though. But that was a different era of NFL. You could coach for like 30 years. I'm for real. I'm for real. Nowadays they run them out. Sometimes they still do, but it depends. But there's some teams they hang on to you for 30 years. Like the Cowboys, y'all hire the same type of coach, basically 30-year plan. Because, you know, that's embarrassing. Because unless you Tony Dungy or you Mike Tomlin or you Andy Reid, I don't that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. They just would do dumb stuff and they lose, and it just was dumb stuff that he allowed. So, you know, that's what they're doing right now in Cincinnati. They got a coach. They should be looking for another coach. They letting Joe Burrow rot, and they stay loyal to the detriment. One more chances you gonna get. Because even if Mahomes don't win another Super Bowl, which I doubt, I think he'll win another one. I still think he could win two more, but regardless whatever he do, Burrow's career is gonna be, here. Yeah, I know. Andy Dalton playing for everybody. So that's what's up. Please continue to hit the like and subscribe because I'm almost getting ready to roll in just a minute. And I appreciate it when it's coming through. But if you got any comments, let's keep it going. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's see what we got. He was. They won the Super Bowl, and he was great. Yep. And they were unstoppable. And then he went. And I remember Tony Kornheiser said that if he can get the Bengals to 500, he beat the Vince Lombardi. And I think the Bengals took that to heart because that turkey was there for a long time. Marvin Lewis was in Cincinnati so long he almost grew hair back and he was bald. So that should kind of tell you what you need. But yeah, they won. They were incredible defense, and he was great as a coordinator. Um, Let me think. Fun how if you're a Packer fan, yeah, Detroit sucked back then, and Minnesota underachieved. Minnesota had all that talent, didn't do nothing, didn't finish up what they had. So I don't know. Chicago was garbage. Uh, yeah. It's probably not top five biggest game. Lawrence Taylor, Dick Buckus, Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Deion Sanders, Ronnie Lott. You can make a debate for Von Miller. You can make a strong case for Von Miller. Ed Reed. Did I say Ray Lewis? So if I include all that, he doesn't make the 10 biggest game changers, let alone five. There you go. I named 10 guys before I mentioned him. Now you tell me which one he's replacing. Because Ed Reed and Ray Lewis were the last two I mentioned. And obviously I mentioned Reggie White, Bruce Smith. That's four. I mentioned Deion Sanders, Ronnie Lott. That's six. Von Miller's, you can make a case for Von, Lawrence Taylor, Dick Buckus. That's 10 right there. So where's he? There you go. I like Troy a lot. For his era, he was impressive. But when you talking all around with those guys, eh, so I didn't mention Deacon Jones. I didn't mention Mean Joe Green. I didn't mention Jack Lambert. That's three more. Didn't mention, so now. But I like his energy. There was no one quite like him, how he was kind of like, he was a disruptor. But those 10 guys, yeah, he was. But you heard the 10 I mentioned. When you say ever, you got to talk about guys that dominated, took over. And about five or six of those guys I mentioned, not only did they take over, they changed the culture of football. I mean, Ronnie Lott to Dion changed the culture of how you cover or how you get to cover or what you get to do. So he belongs in the conversation with probably in the 15 to 20 range. I think we say top 20, yeah, but top 10. So the AFC North back then, let me see. So anyway, let me get back to that. Pittsburgh was Pittsburgh. Depends on what year we're talking. Oh, 2000. So Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Yeah. 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 Pittsburgh was great during that time. Mhm. Cleveland was always in the bottom. Cincinnati just couldn't quite get it right. So Pittsburgh was pretty much the dominant team over that because after Baltimore won, they won two from I think it was from 2001 to 2012, and Pittsburgh went to three Super Bowls and won two. So yeah, yeah. So anyway, I think I'm gonna call it a day. We did like quite a bit. Appreciate everybody that came through. Thank you, Jay Will, for being here. Uh, Comments and commentary and taking the poll. I won't be back until this weekend. And again, I like to get some feedback if more people would like to come through because it's more effective when I have more. But I appreciate the ones that do show. And if you'd like to link up live, let me know. But I need to know so that way we could get it done properly because I was like, more of a gathering. But appreciate when it came through. Thank you for the clicks, likes, and views. Um, and if you're able to, let me know. You know, um, I've been on almost 2 hours a day, so just gonna pretty much call it a day. And peace out. Thank you for all right. Thank you. Peace.